Well, Ross, how difficult is it to defend a game like that when they've got 68 inside of 50s against such a potent forward line, and when you coughed up the ball so easily?
It's certainly not easy. Thought we jumped out of the blocks pretty well, didn't take opportunities, and to your point, coughed up the ball a lot for whatever reason. It was wetter and slipperier than you'd think coming here, but I mean that's by the by. But yeah, our decision making with the ball, we just gave it. If you come in, clearance work was strong early, 13-5 and entries, but just our decision making. So probably as a coaching group, somehow we've got to say, well, what we're expecting and what's been delivered, there's a bit of a disconnect. So tidy up our education and train, and all you can do is train it. So I'm really disappointed for Jack Sinclair and his milestone, pretty special player for us. But it just shows emotion and words don't get it done. At the end of the day, as Wilkie said, that's the feedback where we're at, and we just need to work hard to turn it around, shoulder to the wheel. And I think that's as simple as I can make it. Yeah, so at least in the last quarter, we probably fought on a little bit, but I thought early in the first half, particularly quarter time, I was like, let go of the scoreboard. It was 1-4, 4-2, doing it like right. But their intercept game, they dominated the air, something like 20-6 contested marks, which has been a theme against us all year. We're just a little bit short either end, Within the rec, I suppose, like Wintake did a great job on Bontempelli, really tenacious and determined. I thought Rowan fought pretty well against English, and I thought Wilkie. Outside of that, and I thought our captain really pressured, but outside of that, it was really hard to find a winner, I would have thought.
You mentioned they fought on late, but did you think the game sort of lost its sting in that third quarter too quickly, too easily? Yeah,
for sure, we didn't enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's been a trait of the group since I've been here, but but early we jumped out of the blocks, we were right in the game. It was a lot to like. Even the second quarter was just some frustration, like our kick-ins, and in the past have been a strength. They just keep coming back when they shouldn't be. But it's the unpredictability of what we're doing. So ultimately, I suppose we've got to own that, somewhere, make sure we all get on the same page under pressure. And currently we're not. We have been at times, but we're just too inconsistent with it.
I mean, how disappointing that you after such a great result in your last game it's almost like the polar opposite, really, wasn't it?
No, I disagree with that a bit. I actually said that. We won on our ball use solely last week and some pressure. They had, I think, something like almost 20 more entries as well. I think it was 59-41. And the midfield clearances entries last week were 4 entries to us, 14 for them. We knew it was a bit unsustainable. Winning wallpapers over a lot of cracks, right? But we knew. I didn't think I was, over the top in my system. I liked our spirit, and I liked some ball use, but we overused it a bit today when we should have. It was like it was wet. You needed to take the contest a bit more. And I thought their big guys just dominated. Lobb, Darcy. I thought Wilkie did a great job on Norton for the supply, but the other talls, they dominated. Lobb's quality. Darcy shouldn't have been able to do what he did, but he did it, right? So, but it was a pretty good supply. Probably. I've got to stop talking here. But if you look at the mechanic, turning it over to coming out of defence and going back in, how many of their 19 marks come off those turnovers? Like, the number's too big there. So I wouldn't have put last week up on the mantelpiece as that's what we're trying to achieve.
Sorry, Ross. If this is, as you said, for a bit of a more where you're at, are you surprised that this is where you're at if you're that far off?
I don't think anyone in the competition thought we'd be going through undefeated and against someone that's a premiership contender, that if we're not on our taco and we're slaughtering the ball, we're not going to have problems. So, no, I know where we're at and what we're working through. Like, the club's got a strategic plan, what we're doing with the list. I mean, I can go through it all, but I think you guys do your work and understand where we're at. I mean, if someone wants to place us somewhere out, I'm happy to hear the argument. But, that's where we're at. We're better than what we displayed tonight, but they seem to have our number. Do you know what I mean? And even when we're doing everything right, winning clearances, going forward, turning it over on them, creating opportunities, they're just slicker and more polished, and they got more quality and run deeper. That's where we aspire to get to. But There's no magic bullet in the AFL. You've got to do the work, do the time, and you just got to keep adding talent. There's clubs out there that have been rebuilding 6 or 9 years, and they're starting to get traction now. We don't want it to take that long, but at the minute, that's where we're at.
Ross, particularly in the first half, Wanganeen Malira got a lot of ball use and did have ball in hand. But in the third term, Liberatore went to him and virtually sacrificed his game to quell his influence in the contest.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't see it like that exactly. And Naz, he's having an All-Australian year, so. But even his ball use tonight.
It was the frustrating thing that his ball use early, particularly in the game. He had enough of it, but just didn't make the most of it when he did have ball in hand.
Yeah, I think that was reflective of the team. Yeah, I think that was reflective. We pushed him forward, we moved him around, but it was like just settling him and Sinclair back. We wanted pressure. Teams that had beaten them had applied 2+ for 4 quarters. We couldn't find them, couldn't apply that pressure. It's a pretty simple formula.
Yeah,
we didn't hit 2 once.
Yeah, their forward half game was very brutal and just put you under significant pressure.
Yeah, I think it was a part of it. I would have thought some of our turnovers in the first half was more us than them, to be honest.
You had a strong start to the year. You're a little concerned though, you're competitive with some top teams early, but your last 5 or 6 weeks taking out that Melbourne result, that this is showing a little bit more of your true colours, and you maybe are.
Yeah, true colours. I mean, they're emotive words. I think. We've got some structural challenges. Like, we'd love to have King and Howard available. But I see Essendon and they're really finding on. So we're just going to have to work through it, yeah. But I looked at our draw, I looked at the interstateness, and I understand where we're at. Like, I don't put the head on the pillow thinking this is going to be a, breeze. I know it's hard. We're going to have to play near our best to be getting across the line, our best players playing well, and use the ball better than we did tonight. I thought our contest early, and all the numbers tell you that, right? But if you don't get fuelled, it's always a challenge coming off the bye. They've had a few burrs in them. They're better than a 6-6 team. Their performance tells you that. So, yeah, it's just I'm going to have to swallow it, take what comes my way, but you got to work through.
It's the lowest crowd against the Dogs in Victoria since 1999. Is the concern that the crowd drop-offs is a concern for the Dogs?
Because you go into crowds, right, and you're diving into it. What do Thursday night crowds really look like for most teams in the competition?
That's a fair point. Yeah.
What's the point I made? Do you want to reiterate it to me?
Making it a bit tough for supporters to get here.
Have Thursday night's been very tough for all other clubs as well. It's a binary. It's a yes or no.
No, I don't know. I'm just asking.
Well, you're asking a fair bit about crowds.
Yeah.
You just said that's a fair point.
I didn't ask a fair bit.
Because I worked off the ground and I said to her many early, and she said, Thursday night, right, because I don't dive into it, right?
I haven't dived into it.
No, but my media manager said Thursday nights are really difficult. Most clubs are really struggling because kids have got to go up for schools Thursday night. Is that fair? Was that a conversation we had? Yeah. So I think you picked up on it, but yeah, it's a challenging night. But I would say 2 of the lower drawing clubs in the competition. Yeah, I don't know. What was the crowd?
25,08.
25 is pretty good.
No, 25,08. 20,508.
20,000's decent, I reckon, for a Thursday night. I would think. It's pretty good.
And just
what's acceptable, you reckon?
Just with the fixture.
Just what's acceptable, you reckon?
Oh, what do you think's acceptable?
I don't do crowds.
I don't do crowds. I was just asking that about you and the Dogs. You and the Dogs historically, this was for 26 years. This was the lowest crowd. That's what I was asking.
Yeah. What was the average crowd over 26 years?
More than 20.
Was it? What was it?
20,000.
What was it?
Lowest, it has to be more than 20.
What is it?
If this is the lowest, it has to be more than 20.
I don't know. What is it? 21, 22, 20 and a half? I don't know.
About the fixture. Do you find it odd that you've played the Dogs, 8 weeks, it was a similar result?
No, not really. I think there'll be some other clubs in competition of looking to play each other on a quick turnaround. I think it's just a quirk of the draw. Like, it's just 18 teams, 23. I think there's just some quirks of the draw. I wouldn't have thought there's anything mischievous in it. I think the AFL do their best to accommodate everyone, and that's where we see it, I reckon.
Thank you.
Any others? No. I'll come back to you on the average.